Hi. So I recently got into Splatterpunk, and I know I've mentioned in a previous video that I was gonna start reading Splatterpunk because I wanted to go outside my comfort zone. So I was hoping to find a book genre that would, I guess, push the boundaries a little bit and maybe be a little bit more along the lines of extreme horror. And I guess I just wanted to find a book that actually scared me. So I read a few books in this genre, and the first book that I read was, what was the guy's name? Christopher Triana's Gone to See the Riverman. And this one was the longest of the 4 books that I chose to read, and it was still on the shorter side. It was only 175 pages, but yeah, I mean, I think he did an okay job at developing the characters, more so than I can say for some other Splatterpunk books. But we'll get there. We'll get there. But as far as the story goes, I guess I don't want to get too into it because I'm not here to necessarily go through each story. I don't want to necessarily do that. I just like a quick review without ruining too much of what happens and just my thoughts on it. So Gone to See the Riverman follows this character named Lori, who is, shoot, it's been a couple weeks since I've read it now, but I want to say she was in her 40s, and she's taking care of her adult, disabled older sister who's a couple years older than her. And basically Lori is, it seems like she's depressed, and like the only joy she gets in life is through her contact with this man who is incarcerated. So she is just writing letters back and forth with this guy, and he ends up giving her a key when she goes in to visit him in the prison. He gives her a key and asks her to deliver it to some shack basically in the middle of nowhere where he's from, some small town, and deliver it to this man called the Riverman. As I was starting this story, I thought I don't know, it had a lot of potential in the beginning. I thought it could be really spooky, and I just like did not know what to expect, and it had some mixed reviews. Some people loved it, some people thought it was so fucked up. And don't get me wrong, it was super fucked up. It was yeah, especially a lot of like Lori's flashbacks revealed that she was not a good person, actually a horrible person, despite her taking care of her older, disabled sister at this point. Yeah, I don't want to ruin anything specifically or give away what happens, but needless to say, I ended up fucking hating Lori. I did not like Lori, which obviously she's already like doing some weird shady shit with this man who's giving her this key. So anyway, so she goes out in the middle of nowhere to deliver this key to the Riverman, and she has no choice but to bring her sister with her. And it took a weird turn that I didn't expect. It got like a bit supernatural. Yeah, I guess you could say it was supernatural. It became very, I don't know, like it seemed like it could be a real story. Like it was a very realistic story in the beginning, and then it just really kind of went off the tracks a bit in the end there. And I didn't love that. I'm not super into supernatural horror because I don't know, it's a little scary, I guess. I don't know if it's done right. Like ghosts can be spooky, but I don't know. This was just a little too much for me. I didn't think it was that scary. It was just kind of gross. Like it was just gross. Yeah, so I didn't love that. And the way it ended just was kind of anticlimactic, I guess. I mean, it was eventful. I was going to say it was uneventful. It was eventful, though. Like, something happens. I don't want to ruin it. Basically, I didn't love it. So, that was Gone to See the Riverman. It was my first book in this genre, and I thought that would be the first one I talk about. But I know I'm missing a lot of the details because I'm not here to spoil all the details. Just generally speaking, I guess I would give it maybe like, God, it's so hard to rate these type of stories, too, because, like, you really have to be the right person for this genre anyway and for these books, because most people I think would be very disturbed. It was disturbing, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm desensitized to scary stuff. It was gross, but it wasn't super scary. I was not scared. So I guess you could maybe, I'd maybe give it like a 3, probably, because I mean it could have been worse, because at least there was a lot of good character development. I thought, like, we really got to know Lori's whole background and like her as a person. We got to see her sister's background before becoming disabled, and yeah, and their family dynamics with, yeah, oh god, I don't want to get into it, but basically there was good character development, so we'll give it that. It gets a star for that. Otherwise it probably would have been a 2 for me, because I just didn't love the story. Like, it had such potential and it just kind of ended kind of not, I just thought it was kind of dumb. I ended kind of dumb. I thought it could have been cooler and scarier, and it just got supernatural and weird. So, okay, moving on to the next one. The following book I read was A Crack in the Foundation, written by G.M. Guidras. I think that's how you say it. I hope I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm not. I actually read 2 books from this author. So the first one I read was A Crack in the Foundation. This one was the shortest. It was only 61 pages. And I actually kind of liked this story. It was a little revenge story, but I mean, it definitely, like, the person getting revenge definitely took it too far, like way too far. Like, it was just kind of brutal and horrible. Just horrible. Basically just a lot of torture. I won't get into it too much in too much depth, but I'll say this. The main character is a guy who is panhandling, pretending to be homeless, just a grimy, bummy kind of guy, goes out, isn't actually homeless, has an apartment with roommates, but just goes out there, kind of like plays the role, and honestly it suits him. So it seems like he fits in well. He just doesn't, he's not like well kempt, if that makes sense. So he already kind of looks like he's living on the street, like he doesn't have access to water and, you know, or like a shower and stuff like that. So he already kind of fits the bill a little bit, so it's believable. He's out there panhandling and people are, you know, giving him money. And yeah, and he's doing that for a while, and he becomes obsessed with this woman that he sees on the street while he's just like working, and he stalks her to the point where he finds out where she lives. I do love a good stalker, obsessive person story for some reason. I think those are really interesting, and they're like so spooky to me. Like, those will spook me out. Yeah, they're creepy. That type of thing creeps me out. I don't know. So there's certain things that like were in the previous story that should be super horrifying, and they are, but like I wasn't like skeeved away from them like I was with this story, or not skeeved away, but I wasn't like as affected, I guess. So anyway, so this guy's obsessed with this girl. He follows her home. He kind of like studies her lifestyle and her patterns. And she is married, so she and her husband are out dressed all nice, and they leave the house, so he kind of assumes they must be going out to a nice dinner or something. So he sneaks into their house, and he is planning, oh yeah, okay, I forgot to mention, so the reason that he's so obsessed with her is the way she smells, I guess. She has like a very specific aroma that he is just like very drawn to. So yeah, so anyway, so they leave. He's thinking, I'm gonna go in there, like snag her perfume, snag some used panties, I know it's gross, and just get the hell out of there. And like, that's his plan. And he's like, yeah, like talking about how he used to be like, what is it, a burglar? He used to burgle or something, he robbed people when he was younger, so he knows how to get in the house easily. So he gets in their house with like a little card thing. He's up in the bathroom, he grabs the stuff, and then he hears them in the downstairs. I'm not going to get too much in the details. He hears them basically come home like within minutes, like maybe 10 minutes, and he's just like hanging out in there still. So he's like, oh shit. So he goes and hides in the basement and is hiding in a closet. And then the husband and wife come downstairs. They're arguing about something, and oh, fuck, I wasn't gonna ruin it. I don't want to ruin it. Yeah, I don't want to ruin what happens, but let's just say things get really, like, things take a turn that I didn't expect. Yeah, I should leave it at that. That one, I mean, it's such a short read, and like, it just gets right into it. It's disgusting right away, just like talking about this man and like his living situation and just him. He's just kind of a gnarly guy. And then it gets really crazy, twisted. Didn't expect it to turn the way it did, but he's hiding in the closet. They're in the basement. Yeah, I don't want to ruin it. So that one I think I recommend maybe reading if you're interested in, if you want to know what happens more, I suggest maybe getting into that. Fuck, should I just say the spoilers? I didn't say the spoiler for the other one though, so no, I'm not doing big spoilers, just like little intros on whatever. Okay, so yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. But that one, okay, so it was short, it was sweet, short, disgusting. I think if the goal is to gross you out in this genre, I think they did a pretty good job. There's some things that go down that were like stomach churning, like nasty. So yeah, that one I liked it. It was quick and easy and funny. There was honestly some funny parts, but also yeah, it ended on a bit of a, not a cliffhanger necessarily, but like you wonder what he's gonna do next. And I'm not gonna say more about that. You wonder what someone's gonna do. Not necessarily that guy. Not necessarily the bummy guy. I don't remember their names. But yeah, it ends with like a little tongue-in-cheek joke too. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I think that one I would give. It's hard with this genre because I know not everyone's gonna like it, but like, I don't know, for me, it was a fun read. I read it in one sitting. I'd probably give that like a, if I gave the other one a 3, I'd probably give this one a 4 then. Maybe I should give the other one a 2, okay? Rewind, I'm giving Gone to See the Riverman a 2. It was fine, but like I didn't love the ending. Cracking the Foundation, we're giving it a 3. Yeah, 3 out of 5. So, okay. On to the next one from GM Guidras, I think. The other one is called It's Me, Charlie. And this story follows a man who is, and this is a scary as fuck situation, or scenario, I should say. So it's this man who is, he has an online presence, and he's imitating like these book talk people that he sees online, and he is pretending that he is a girl named Charlie, and he has photos of himself, and it's just pictures he got off the internet of some girl. So he's pretending to be a lady. He's like big onto the smut, you know, in the smut world of, I don't know if it's book talk, but like he's online, basically he's an online presence in the book community, specifically in the smutty book community, and he becomes obsessed with this author who he kind of befriends, you know, under the guise of him being a woman, but he's obviously not. We know that the whole time, but she doesn't know it all. And like they become friends online, and he just becomes obsessed with her. It's another one of those obsessive dude, like fawning over a girl online, you know, it's another one of those obsessive stories. Those are always just a quick fun, I don't know, maybe not quick. Those are always just like a fun, I don't know, fun one for me. I like a good obsessive freak, you know? So basically he kind of has this whole plan mapped out in his mind of how he's going to basically kidnap her. And that's not really ruining anything, because from the beginning, he kind of is talking about how he can't wait to have her all to himself at you know, at his house and blah, blah, blah. And like, he got all her favorite things. He's basically been stalking her, and he knows, oh yeah. And so he knows all her favorite like things based on like, well, what he assumes is her favorite like things and fantasies, based on her books that she writes, because she writes smut, and he's just kind of assuming that that's what she likes because she writes that. So silly assumption, dude, but whatever. So he just assumes that that's all the things that she's into based on her books. He has like her books memorized. It doesn't ever, I don't believe it ever goes in and says how many books she's written, but I want to say it's like a good handful, probably like maybe around 10 books. So he's just like a huge fan, like her number one fan, kind of a creepy, like almost gives like Misery vibes. If you know that story, I'm sure you do. Most people know that. It's a great movie. I should read the book. I think I will. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna add that to my list. Mental note. So like she's just like his number one fan, or he is her number one fan. And I guess, let's see, I'm trying to figure out how to say this without ruining I don't want to give away spoilers, as you know, so let me think. Basically, how am I gonna go about saying what he does without, I mean, it's gonna ruin it. He kidnaps her, basically. I won't get into all the details, but yeah, how many times can I say that? You guys get it. So yeah, he kidnaps her. He tries to like enact some of the scenes from her books, and just based on like what he thinks she likes. So yeah, long story short, it doesn't go over well necessarily. It doesn't go to plan. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It's another really short one. This one was only 63 pages. So I kind of like this author in that he kind of gets to the point of the story. Although one thing I will say about him, or about these two stories that I read at least, is that there isn't so much, there isn't a lot of like great character development or like a lot of like big plot happening. There isn't a lot of meat to this. It's just, it goes straight into it. It doesn't fluff it up with like a whole background story for the characters. There'll be like nods to different things I've noticed in each of these stories, but in this one especially, they allude to this man, like, not even allude. At the very end, I think they do kind of say that he killed his mom, but like, and that's not really like ruining too much because it has nothing to do with the story and they never get into it. But like, yeah, he like killed his mom, I guess, and like moved across the country to be closer to this girl that he's obsessed with. And I guess his mom was like, kind of like shat on him, like kind of like, not shat on him. She was realistic with him. She was like, dude, she's not gonna be into you. It sounds like she was kind of mean and maybe emotionally abusive. But I mean, he kills her, but they never really get into that. And I feel like they really could have given more, because like I would have wanted to know what happened more in his background and how he got to this point. And it doesn't super go in depth about his character, and he is like the main character. Same with the girl that he's obsessed with, or the woman that he's obsessed with. Yeah, they never really, nothing is ever explained. Like we don't know anything about her except for that she's a smut author. Like that's it. Like there is no characterization to these people at all. Like we really just don't know anything about them except for this situation that they're like the scenario that they are literally in that moment. So, and I don't love that. I feel like a big part of reading for most people, I don't know, a lot of people at least, is I don't know, reading characters that you can kind of relate to, or at least you can kind of, I mean, you can root for, or you can be like, oh, fuck them, they suck, you know, like, but you know stuff about this character, you know, and I feel like you don't really get that with these characters because it's just right off the bat just gets into nasty shit. I do gotta say though that he did a great job with the description on these guys because they both just sound disgusting. Like, just, yeah, gross. He did a good job. If the whole goal is to make you feel repulsed, I think great success, you know. So yeah, I don't know if I would read these again. They're just, I guess maybe around Halloween or like when, you know, spooky season comes and like Chris Bottom airs, you know, around us and the jack-o'-lanterns are lit. These might be good, like literally sit down and read it in 1 hour type of stories, depending on how fast a reader you are, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, but like really they're short, they're easy to get through. One of them's a little funny. Yeah, Cracking the Foundation had a little bit of humor. It's Me, Charlie didn't have anything funny that I realized, or that I noticed at least. But so yeah, Cracking the Foundation was okay. Yeah, it was pretty good. it was a decent story. I didn't like love it. I'm gonna have to give it a 3, same as A Crack in the Foundation. You can tell same person wrote them, very similar writing style, and just jumping right in. Don't know much about the characters aside from their immediate, obsession or whatever is just like currently playing out. So on to the very final book, the final book of this video. I'm going to be talking about The Slob by Erin Beauregard. And this is one that I heard a lot of people talk about. And I've heard a lot about this author because of, what is that one called? The Playground, I think. The one where it's like Saw, but it's kids. Yikes. So that creeped me out knowing that it's the same author, but like luckily there's no kids in this one because I don't want to read that, I don't know. That's like not for me, I guess. I just like I don't know. Why? Same with animals. Animals and kids, like they're so innocent. They don't deserve, no one deserves some of this shit, like for real, but like it's not for me. But anyway, so The Slob. I actually just finished reading today. So it was pretty good. I actually like this one a lot. And this isn't the longest one. So this one was 127 pages long. And basically to take you through at least the beginning of it, the story starts with the main character. Gosh, I'm like, what is her name now? Oh my God, I should know it. I just read it today. Well, hold on, let me think. I know her husband's name is Daniel. What the hell is her name? Maybe they never say it. I don't know, whatever. It's fine. So basically, the main character is this woman, and right off the bat, like the first chapter, it's just her trapped in this house, just like messed up, like really just beaten, like just beat up, just really fucked up bad. And it's just her kind of laying there thinking about like, oh my God, like I can't believe this is happening. Like basically kind of just like thinking back over the past however long she's been in this situation. And so at first I was like, oh shit, right off the bat, we're just jumping in. We're just in it. Like what even is the context here? Like I was kind of nervous I wasn't gonna like it, And actually out of all the books, this was my favorite one, like by far. So yeah, it was the most disgusting, I think too. Like I actually was like, ooh, stomach ache from this one. Like I was like, I actually had to take a break. I was like, but it's like I couldn't, yeah. But but it was definitely like the most interesting and the most scary out of the stories. So basically this woman is in a situation and she's kind of like having these thoughts. She's just like in her head, kind of laying there, kind of like almost in a sense, it feels like she's giving up hope. And it just kind of describes the gory bit, the gory aspects that surround her and like the room she's in and stuff. And just like her going through some regrets she had. And then she kind of is like, oh, like, is this what like a flashback looks like? Like what's happening? Am I like about to pass out? She basically starts to feel like her life is flashing before her eyes and she's like really living in her head for a minute there and like thinking back on her life, I guess. So then the next chapter, it's like her kind of reminiscing. It's like a flashback basically. And it shows her upbringing, and she basically grew up in what sounded kind of similar to like a hoarder house situation. Just like really dirty, garbage everywhere, just piled up, clothes, insects, rats, mice, the whole works. So basically it's kind of her going through her childhood and how traumatizing that was for her, and having her dad who was in, I think this, because this is like, oh, I didn't mention, this story takes place in what, 1969? It takes place in the 80s, but like her flashback is in the 60s basically. So she's thinking back and she's like, oh, like thinking about how her dad was in the war and how he got his legs blown off, and like it kind of goes into her background a bit, which I appreciated because you got to get to know the characters so that you are more sad when they die or you're happier when they survive, whatever it may be. you know, you want to be able to like know who you're rooting for and who you're against, you know, in a story. So she's thinking back, she's thinking about her dad and how he's an amputee, he's depressed, he can't, you know, he can't walk, he doesn't have legs. Her mom is working all the time just to pay and support, you know, pay for everything and support the family. So she's like never home. Her sister, who's a couple years older than her, or no, maybe more than a couple. I think she might have been like, there was an age gap actually, I think, like quite a bit. So maybe like 10 years or so, maybe more. So her sister's a bit older, and her sister is mentally unwell, you could say, and just like very angry and like talking about killing herself all the time. And I don't think it would ruin it if I said that her sister kills herself in the end. So spoiler, but like it doesn't really affect the story too much, but it just kind of solidifies like something in her, because basically, so she has to clean up after they take her sister's body away to the coroner's office and all that. She is stuck cleaning up her sister's like splattered brains and stuff, basically. Eyeball, you know, like, because there's still remnants left from when she shot herself. Which also, side note, I don't think that that's how that works. I'm pretty sure they collect all of the matter, the brain matter, and like body, the tissue, I should say, and put it in a bag and keep it with the body to bring to the medical examiner's office, like in real life. So that kind of took me out a little bit, because I was like, okay, obviously, like, they wouldn't leave her eyeball there. Like, they would not do that. It's a story though, so whatever, it's fine. I can suspend my disbelief a little bit, but anyway, so she's a little traumatized from, well, a lot of traumatized from, you know, having to clean up all that. And because her dad, she knows she can't let her parents do that. Her dad would have troubles. Her mom they both would just struggle with that, obviously. So she's like, okay, I need to do this. And she's pretty young at that point. So then she becomes kind of obsessed with cleaning, and she like wants to clean the whole house. And she's just, yeah, she realizes their family's fucked up, and that she wants to fit in, you know. She doesn't want, she recognizes after going to a friend's birthday party when she's very young that they actually have a normal, well, I shouldn't say normal, but they have a clean house, you know, and you actually can sit down in the chairs without there being like garbage touching you. So she was like, what the hell? Like, whoa, our family's weird. Didn't even realize, like, we're different, you know? So, oh my God. So she's embarrassed and mortified. And basically, so it's just giving like flashback into her background a bit and showing like that she grew up in a very dirty, traumatizing situation. And then it kind of fast forwards, and she meets this man, a veteran. He's in a wheelchair. It kind of like reminds her of her dad. So she like takes pity on him necessarily, but like she like feels for him, and she wants to, you know, help him. And I don't know, they're both part of the same, I don't think it was like Alcoholics Anonymous type of group specifically for veterans. So anyway, long story short, they get married. They're in love. They're very happy. They have a house. She is a clean freak still. He's very sweet, it sounds like, and he helps out all the time around the house as best as he can while she's out at work. And yeah, so she's, you know, doing her thing, and then they're like, oh my God, like, let's have a baby. They get pregnant like pretty quickly, and they're both thinking of ways that they can make a little extra money, just to, you know, help them along since they're about to start a family. So they're kind of planning, and like a little bit of time goes by, maybe a week or two, and they're kind of thinking about what to do still and like making plans. And then a door-to-door salesman shows up at their house with the Bizzle vacuum. I think, oh God, I should have written it down. It was like a very specific, like, I think it was maybe based on a real vacuum that exists. Like, it was like, it gave the whole like title and number. Oh fuck, it was like the Bizzle 1632 like cordless or something. I don't know. But it was like really nice for the 80s especially. So it's basically like a nice vacuum, and it shampoos the carpets too, and like it's incredible. And this guy's not really like, doesn't really give a shit about selling the vacuum, because he's just kind of whatever. He just doesn't, whatever. He's not interested in like being a salesman. He's just there doing his job. But she is intrigued because she sees that it works really well when he does a demonstration. So she buys it, and she asks for his card. And then when the guy leaves, her husband's like, why did you buy that? And she's like, bro, this vacuum is so good. It's going to sell itself. I'm going to do sales to sale or door-to-door salesman stuff. I'm going to be a door-to-door saleswoman. And yeah, so she gets the job, basically, shows up. It pays pretty well. I think they said that she would be getting like $20 per vacuum sold. And then after like 2 or 3 vacuums sold, you get like an extra bonus $20, something like that. Like per day. And that was also in like the 80s. So in the 80s, I think that was probably pretty good money. Hell, that's still okay today. Goddamn. Depending on what kind of a salesperson you are. But anyway, no, I shouldn't say that's good. That's not good money, but it's better than some jobs. You know, it's still tough. Even with 20 an hour, it's still really hard. But anyway, unrelated. Yeah, so anyway, she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. She does the job. She has a really good first week, and basically they decide that after a week she's gonna be done. But the money's so good and she's really good at her job, and she like really believes in the vacuum because she uses it, and she's such a clean freak, and she says it genuinely works so well, and people are just, you know, it feels like free money almost. Like it's almost too good to be true. The money's just like rolling in for them. So she's like, okay, like, can we like compromise on another week? And he, you know, her husband's kind of worried for her safety because this is the 80s and there's not a lot of women door-to-door salesmen, apparently, according to the book. I don't know, I wasn't alive. But so she's like, I get it, but like 1 more week. And then he's like, okay, fine. And then you're gonna stop working and focus on, you know, taking care of yourself because you're pregnant, and, you know, like whatever. I want you to be safe, basically, is what he says. So on her literal last day of the 2nd week of working, she decides to go into a more rural area because she's kind of exhausted like suburbs around her. And it was a big mistake because she goes to this house. It's like a barn in the middle of kind of like nowhere and like a dead end street. And it's just decrepit and disgusting. And the guy who comes to the door when she rings the doorbell is like the grossest. I mean, it was one of the grossest descriptions of a guy or of a person really that I've ever read. So he was foul and deranged. And she's still like, she was just greedy. She was greedy and was like, fuck it, if I sell 1 more vacuum today, I'll get an extra $40 or whatever, or extra 20 or something. So like, fuck it. Like, it's probably like he clearly needs the vacuum. This place is a dump and he's a dump, you know? like girl, read the red flags. What are you doing? But she steps into his house, and then I don't want to, you know, I'll stop there basically because I don't want to ruin where it starts to get crazy, but let's just say it starts to get crazy, you know? Yeah, it takes a wild, I shouldn't say a wild turn, because the whole time you could sense there was a build in this one, and that's why I like it the best out of all these books. The other books, they were okay. I feel like Gone to See the Riverman also had a good build. I had a good build up where it was like, okay, like I'm getting background story, I'm understanding these characters, I'm understanding family dynamics, like what is gonna happen. Except for that one skewed in a weird supernatural, whereas this one just stayed in the realism that I like, I guess. It was something that could happen, and I think that's what makes it scarier for me. It's like, holy shit, this actually is horrifying, and I feel like this is probably happening somewhere in the world, probably in a couple different places. Like, I hope not, but like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it was just like, it's perceivable, is that the word? Believable? I don't know. It's believable, I guess, a little bit. So I think I should leave it there, but like, needless to say, it ends well. I'll give you that. It ends well. There's a satisfying ending, you know, whatever. I think out of all of these, that's the one I would recommend the most. I mean, they're all like $2 on the Kindle app or whatever. So $2. Come on, for a little spooky story. You want to be grossed out, you want to feel gross and creeped out. Maybe those are the ones for you. I don't know. For sure the Slob though. I wasn't sure because I don't remember what I read, but I read a review that like because I had it in my wish list on, or my like to be read list on Fable. I had it on there for like a couple of weeks. And then I read someone's review and I don't even remember what they said, but it made me like totally rethink. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to read this. And then I was like, nope. And I took it off my to be read. And then on a whim, I was like, fuck it. I kind of wanna know. Like the story premise sounded interesting. A door-to-door salesperson, you know, getting abducted. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things that like, I feel like it's a kind of original story. I haven't heard a story like that, at least. So I was, yeah, intrigued. I'm glad I read that one. I think I would give that a 4 out of 5. Yeah, because it was, I mean, it was, I don't know what would render a 5 out of 5, to be honest, because all of these, I mean, it's just disgusting. At the end of this couple of books, I've kind of realized after reading these that I don't think this is my genre. Yeah, I think like maybe once or twice a year, like around spooky season, like I said, like maybe around Halloween time, I could see reading one of these, you know, sipping on a hot chocolate in the comfort of your home. You know, I could see how that would be kind of like a spooky, gross story. But I don't know, it just wasn't, none of them were super scary. The Slob was definitely the scariest, but I still wasn't like scared. I never like got a shiver. I was just grossed out. And I think that's why I'm realizing I think splatterpunk is not my genre at all, because I thought there would be more, I don't want to say there'd be more horror, because it's obviously extreme horror. There's a lot of horror. It's horrific, but it's just not scary to me. I mean, it is, but like, it's just, I think the problem is that most of the stories I've read so far, these stories have just, for the most part, they just get right into it. There is some character building at some points, but like there's no big twist or big like horrifying reveal that like is mind-boggling or that's gonna be like blindsiding you. Like there's not like a big surprise scary thing, because you're almost always expecting something horrible and then it happens and then it's just gross, and then you're just reading gross descriptions, which I think a lot of people probably like that. That's great. Not my thing, I guess. So I don't know. Part of me does want to read, because there is a sequel to the Slob called The Son of, I think it's called The Son of Slob, or The Son of the Slob. I think that one might be fun to read just because like I want to kind of know what happens. I hope me saying that doesn't ruin the story. I don't think it does. I mean, you guys you have the internet, you're clearly watching this, so that means you can see that there's a sequel and read a little synopsis about it. So yeah, not my genre. I think I'll stick to reading like thrillers. I think I like thrillers. I think I like a little more suspense. I like, you know, a little mystery. I think mysteries are fun. So maybe at some point I'll get into those genres more. I'm all over the place with books. I've never been like a huge reader until the last like year. As you can see, I have a lot of books, but and like I go through phases where like there was a while there where I was really into poetry. So I have like half a shelf dedicated to poetry, like stuff like that. And I still have like a lot of my kids, like children's book from when I was a kid, like my favorite ones I kept. So just, I don't know, I just did. So yeah, I have a lot of books here, but I haven't read, you know, a good chunk of them. Some of them I've just read snippets. A lot of them I've just read snippets here and there where I started and didn't finish. So I have a lot of things to get into at some point. Maybe at some point I'll do like a book tour or like a bookshelf tour. I thought about doing that, but it's a mess right now and I feel like it's very disorganized, and before I do something like that, I think it'd make more sense to like get that a little more situated first, or maybe just like show you guys all of this genre or all of that genre and so forth, you know? So yeah, for now though, I think I'll stick with the books that I know I'm happy with. I'm glad I branched out and tried this genre out. I gave it a fair shot. I read 4 books. Granted, 2 of them out of the 4 were by the same author, so I could grab another one from a different author to get like a little taste of variety, a little bit more, but like, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know. If anyone has recommendations though, because I mean, I still am interested. If anyone had a recommendation on an author who writes these type of stories, but also, I don't know, like I like a story too. I feel like these weren't enough story for me. Like it was just nasty and short and gritty, and I think I want a little more substance. So if anyone has recommendations, please leave them below. Please. Because I think it'd be great to get into an author if I could find one that I really like that also is gross, because the problem I have with a lot of horror stories and just thrillers in general is that it's never like enough, you know? Like it could get so much more gross or fucked up, or like, not that I love gore, because I actually don't like gore at all, but like I feel like it's really hard to find a book that'll actually like spook me. The only book I can think of that I've actually been like, that my jaw dropped, literally, that I was like, whoa, and like felt like a chill run through my body. The only book I can remember in my whole life was the one I just read recently. I think I have it right here. The Woman in the Window from A.J. Flynn, written by A.J. Flynn. And yeah, The Woman in the Window, it wasn't scary necessarily, almost the whole thing, like practically the whole story isn't really scary. It disturbed me, and I feel like it brought out some like agoraphobic tendencies that I have, but I wouldn't say it was like a scary book until the twist. Oh my God. I had a chill run through my body. I swear to God, I have not had that reaction ever from a book, I don't think. I was just like so taken back. I was just like, whoa, didn't see it coming. I know some people, I've read reviews and some people were like, oh, that was really obvious that was going to be the twist. Not to me, I guess. I don't know. I was like amazed. I was shocked. It didn't scare me, but it definitely like, whoa, like it, like, you know? And I have not felt that way about any other horror books, and even these splatterpunk books, that was kind of what I was hoping would be my reaction, but really it turned into just me getting a stomach ache and being uncomfortable and just being like grossed out. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also recently read, and this was actually a few months ago, this wasn't super recent, but I semi-recently read Tender as the Flesh. God, I'm forgetting what the author's name, but she wrote it like a while ago. It's an older book, but like basically she did a pretty good job, but like it's another one where, and I don't think this one was maybe necessarily splatterpunk, but just like an extreme horror. I started it a while back, and then it grossed me out so much that I had to stop, and I didn't think I'd ever pick it up again. And I think a big part of it is because I was listening to the audiobook. So I think listening to the audiobook with these type of stories is definitely a no-go for me, because it's too much to process, too much happening, it's too like guttural, it's too raw. Like I couldn't do it. I need to read it to at least be able to like look up and take a second and like pause, even just for like a second, you know, like, and when it's an audiobook, it's just coming at you. And I know you can pause it, but like basically I didn't think I'd be able to finish that book. But now that I've read these books, I think it's kind of funny that I thought that at one point. Because I went back, I ended up getting it. Did I get it on Kindle or on? I don't remember. Or did I borrow a physical copy from someone? I don't remember. But I did read the rest of it finally, and it ended kind of meh. I didn't like the ending at all. I really didn't like the story at all. I thought it was just disturbing how these people were being so dehumanized and just like turned into cattle. But it was definitely like a lot of social commentary. It was definitely social commentary about a lot of things, but also, I mean, a big one was that I noticed obviously was the fact that that's how we treat animals, you know, factory farmed animals, except for it was factory farmed humans for meat. And I'm not going to get into a whole thing about that, but that's just something that I remember that's kind of in this realm. Anyway, I've been yapping for a long time, so yeah, like I said, if you have recommendations for authors or books that you think I may be interested in, please let me know, because I am still hopeful that I'll find some books, you know, or some author that I really love that can really spook me. Yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.